Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and my first shoot of 2025 is this all-new Subaru Evoltis Touring, and it's about time that I have shot this vehicle having driven the previous iteration. And I would say personally for myself, this looks way better than the plain one. So first, I'd like to thank everyone here at Subaru BGC beside SM Aura and to Sir Cliff for making this review possible. Now, with this Evoltis itself, regarding of the looks, they kind of look like with the rest of the lineup too aggressive and all that. But I don't mind this whatsoever because if you look at the side profile itself, the cladding is not that, I would say, too OA compared like the Subaru WRX. You have a ground clearance of 220 millimeters and you get LED adaptive headlights. That means once you corner, they go left, right, up, and down if needed only. And these are running on 245, 50, and 20 series tires. These are really big for a full-size 7-seater SUV. Powering this Subaru Evoltis Touring is a 2.4-liter turbocharged Boxer 4 engine that produces 264 horsepower and 375 Newton meters of torque, mated to a linear turonic CVT that simulates 8 gears. So this is exactly the same like what you get in the previous Evoltis itself. So there's a lot going on here in the engine bay, as you can see, and there's a very massive airbox here to cool the engine itself. And I have driven this, of course, almost 2 years back then. Now I do love its capability of being somewhat a good performance vehicle, because this 0 to 100 kilometer per hour time is done in 7.7 seconds whilst being very comfortable at the same time. Now here at the rear of the Subaru Evoltis, the design here is a little bit more toned down than the one in front, and this entire piece, like including with this Crab Glow LED taillights itself, is almost exactly the same with the rest of the lineup. And for once, you get real exhaust tips on either side. And this is the specialty of the Subaru Evoltis. Once you see the boot space, it is huge. With all of the seats up, you have a total of 498 liters. Underneath, you have a space for your tonneau cover itself, and even places for your brochures. I'm going to take that. Halogen light. Only on the left side, a Harman Kardon sound system. More on that later on. And look at the space. For a 3-row SUV, full-size SUV rather, this is amazing. And it's very easy to push down the third row. Just pull this, guys. Oops. And of course, it will extend. And if you fold the captain seats down, it will further increase to 2,061 liters. Now, that's really impressive. However, though, with great boot space comes with great dimensions. So, beside this is the Subaru Outback. Yeah, this is a very, very huge car. Now, this is the interior of this all-new Subaru Evoltis. Here in the door card, it's just a little bit restyled compared with the previous Evoltis. However, it still retains the wooden trim around in the door handles, along too with your memory seat buttons. And this Evoltis itself, a 14-speaker Harman Kardon sound system setup. I've heard this in the past. Sadly, I won't be able to demo it to you guys for obvious reasons. And there's a big overhaul in the design with the interior. Sadly, now there is less buttons now than usual. More on this in a bit. Here on the left side, there's an extra space here. You get one blank button, but you have functioning buttons for the brightness of the cluster, your headlight leveler adjustment, and for your electronic tailgate itself. Steering wheel, pretty much the same like with all Subarus. And you get paddle shifters too. All around, I love the throw. Similar like with the WRX. It's all plastic, but hey, it's fine for me. And these are array of buttons. There's a lot of them. So you got your instrument cluster, volume adjustments, and phone connectivity buttons on the left side. And you get your adaptive cruise control functions on the right side. Oh, and I just saw now there's an extra button here for your heating functions for the steering wheel. No idea why you need that, but in case for the Tito question, if you want to go up to Baguio and it's too cold, this feature will come in handy. And you have a analog tachometer, speedometer with an LED display right in the middle with all of your important functions. And the design is pretty much per usual like with the rest of the Subaru lineup. You get your eyesight system above here too. Now with this adaptive cruise control functions for your as well too for your Eyesight 4.0, this has level 2 autonomous driving. Sadly, I won't be able to demo it here around in BGC, but hopefully in soon Subaru PH will give me a lend out of this, then I will be able to try this out. Now, this is what's really different now with this Evoltis compared to the previous one. This is an 11.6-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And my favorite thing with this Evoltis, you have seat ventilations and seat warmers. And the seat warmers is one of the hottest things I've ever tested, and two, with the coldest seats I've ever tested. So good job with Subaru with that. And for your around view monitor, so this one's a little bit weird. So for your 360-degree camera, if you want to change the view or the area, it blanks out for some reason. So expect the grudge to be in one of the cameras if you change your camera display. And if you're planning to reverse, you can have your reverse camera and 360-degree camera at the same time. However, it did not make up for the space, so I wish it was a little bit bigger, but you can just change it to just your reverse camera or your 360-degree camera alone. The resolution, not the greatest, but not the worst either, at least. Hazard buttons, tuning knob, air conditioning, temperature controls, heating functions, and yeah, that's your usual Subaru. Exactly the same tool that I've experienced with the WRX wagon, so I have a separate review of that. Check it out on my channel. And further down the infotainment system, there's a cubby space with a 12-volt socket, your around view monitor button, aux cord, and two fast charging ports for a Type C and a Type A, which I find very handy. A wooden trim here once again around in the center console, your gear shift, electronic parking brake, and two cup holders with ambient light all around. And here on the right side of the dashboard, there's an extra space and a glove box, but it only houses your very massive manual itself. And the seats overall is really nice. I mean, it looks like a bit of a sports seat, but oh yeah, actually it does feel sporty too, since there's a lot of bolstering. However, the quality, fit and finish is really soft and it's very comfortable to sit in. One of the more comfortable Subarus I've tried out so far. And above here, you get your halogen lights, controls for the panoramic sunroof that stretches all the way to the second row. And for once, I can see it above here, since you all know me, I'm very, very short. And you get electronic adjustments for, making sure for both front seats, which is nice. And back above here, so you have a sunglasses holder. And perks of this Evoltis too, you have an extra mirror too to check out all of the rear occupants. So if you have naughty kids playing around, so you can tell who's who and who's to blame. And visor, you get a vanity mirror with halogen lights. And of course, I know this vehicle. Well done, Subaru. Now, these are the second row seats of the Subaru Evoltis. Here in the dark card, pretty much the same like the ones in front. However, you get an extra cup holder here now above, and you get sunshade blockers on either side. How about that? So this Subaru Evoltis is one of the more premium side of things. It's not the usual off-roader or the sportier side of things. Example like with the WRX and BRZ. And the seats are captain style seats. I love them. For obvious reasons, there is no bench option for this Evoltis itself. So hence why this is called a soccer mom's car. And the space is amazing. So I've not adjusted this seat yet, but if we do it, oh wow, that's already all the way back. Look at that. Well, the knee and feet room is amazing. Headroom is all right. Remember, because of this panoramic sunroof, and then you get your air conditioning vent and halogen lights on either side. So this one's just a nitpick of mine. I wish they upgraded these lights too for the all-new Evoltis. And you get two map pockets on either side. And here in the middle, you get more air conditioning controls, a 120-volt outlet, two fast charger ports again, and a pop-out cup holder. Look at that, with adjustments. So in case you have bigger stuff like for tumblers and all that. Now, there's an air conditioning control system here. So I forgot to mention this in front. This is one of the few cars that I know that has a 3-zone climate control system. So that means you can control it either in front or here in the second row itself. Now, getting into the third row of this Evoltis is pretty much easy. So there's a lot of manual levers here for the captain seats itself. Once you are here though, remember this was my most comfortable seating position of the second row. Feet room, knee room, so-so. Headroom, yeah, pretty decent. So this third row is best for small adults like me and kids here. Remember, I am 5'4". But if your second row is passengers a little bit generous, wait, feel uncomfortable, there you go. That's much better. And it's still not so bad. And this is literally a 3-row seating for the third row itself. So yeah, look at that. 3 people here at the third row, no issue whatsoever. And there's still a lot of toys here, not to my surprise. The usual air conditioning vent and halogen light on either side. Third seat belt here above for the middle passenger. So on my left side, you get a cubby space, 2 cup holders and more speakers, seatbelt holders too. And on the right side, you get an additional cup holder, so make that 3 now, and another massive cubby space with 2 Type A USB ports. This time, it's a 2.1 ampere setup compared to the ones to the second and third row, which is a 2.4 ampere and a 3 ampere respectively. And sitting back here in the middle, it's a little bit more comfortable because you have a lot more space for your feet and knees, since remember the second row is captain style seats. So first drive now, finally back in a Subaru once again, and I would say there's just slight improvements compared with the previous iteration of this Evoltis regarding the NVH. We're just like running 30 even 40 kilometers per hour earlier, and it's very smooth. So for this price point, there's a lot of competition, and judging from the title itself, would you get a minivan or this? And speaking of, there are only few cars in this class. They're like the Santa Fe. And now here, 40 kilometers per hour, and then just gun it. Oh my god, wow, okay. Right. For some reason too, or maybe I have not pushed the old Evoltis / Ascent a couple years back, this is really peppy. So I kind of believe now it's 0 to 100 km per hour time of 7.7 seconds. Well, to be honest, for me, it feels a little bit faster than the numbers dictate. Remember, 264 horsepower, that's almost exactly the same. Well, just a little bit less than that what you get on the Subaru WRXs. Well, a tad more less too than the BRZ for obvious reasons. But if you want the performance of those cars was having to carry your family all around, this Evoltis is literally perfect. And of course, with Subaru's signature boxer engine, symmetrical all-wheel drive system, the handling of this compared with the likes of the Santa Fe, this is way better. There's so much heft in the steering. Of course, it's a little bit heavy given the drivetrain itself. And I will praise to this day, even with the older Subarus, it's this Lineotronic CVT. If you're not totally a car person, you will mistaken this as a DCT transmission. This is how good Subaru's Lineotronic CVTs are. And I will keep saying it, this is one of the best CVT transmissions you can literally buy anywhere. But one nitpick only, I wish there was a automatic version, like I mean a regular torque converter automatic, like example in the BRC. But for this Evoltis, this is perfect with the CVT. This is, again, how good they are, having driven what the rest, like the Outbacks, the WRX wagons. Yeah, does the job of getting you point A to B smoothly or very quickly at the same time. And just few more snippets that I noticed here too in the infotainment system. You have built-in navigation. Not much cars now have this feature, and again with all the driving modes, I only see for the on-road settings, the normal mode. So that's why you don't see me saying sport mode and all that. But at least you have the paddle shifters, you get very good response time too once you're shifting up and down. The simulations of this is, I would say, really good. Of course, I mean, look, first gear and then I'm gonna shift up. It's very DCT-like without being, well, without having rather the DCT-ness of the transmission. I see why people buy these Evoltis vehicles in the first place. Of course, it's peppy and yeah, somewhat really sporty to drive. If as an enthusiast myself, would I prefer this over a Santa Fe in terms of driving dynamics? Yes. And here, manual mode, 20 kilometers per hour, and then oh wow, that's almost the national speed limit. Wow, that's amazing. Right, calm down for a moment. Right. And the ride of it is super smooth, and back here the NVH at faster speeds like 60 kilometers per hour. Not much tire noise despite two running on 20-inch wheels. It's a near perfect SUV, to be honest. There's just one gripe though. I'll be honest. It's just the price. I mean, it's given to with some of the larger SUVs in this category. Example to as I mentioned, with the Santa Fe, and I think too like with the likes of us Ford Explorer, since there's just one in front of me. This one stands at 3,780,000 pesos. I would say with the upgrades compared with the previous Evoltis, this is pretty much worth it because you get the level 2 autonomous driving and all that, the comfort, the power, and all that. It's a near perfect SUV.
Guys, meeting tayo, and then the good thing, punta muna tayo ng coffee shop because of 16 cup holder tayo, pwede tayo mag meeting part, coffee with meeting, di ba?
Basically, my voice is louder.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, di ba? Kahit nandun sa dulo yung kausap mo, dinig niyo kung ano yung pinag-uusapan nyo rito.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And here a little bit more of the bumpy route here around in Forbes Town. Again, a bit more rougher road here. Look at that. It's handling almost everything, even the slightest of road imperfections, perfectly. Manual mode, and then let's go for it. Oh, wow. Wow. And handling for a big SUV, this is amazing. Alright, slow down. Wow. Body lean, surprisingly, I mean, there is, but it's not as much as I expected. So the suspension and everything else is, I would say, tuned to perfection. There's one drawback though, having this being a very big car, it's the fuel economy. So it just says here in the trip computer, on this test drive alone, 6 kilometers per liter. But of course, if you're gonna drive this normal, calm pace, and especially on the highway, this will be more efficient than the one I'm doing now for obvious reasons. So yeah, that concludes my review of this all-new Subaru Evoltis and my first review of 2025. So I'd like to thank everyone here at Subaru BGC beside SMORA, and to Sir Cliff, who assisted me here in this test drive today. So if you want to know more about this vehicle and more Subaru vehicles as well, you may highly check out their dealer. And I'll probably be back there for another Subaru review. And it's been, what, almost a year or two since I've driven that car. And I've always wanted to drive it again. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And I will see you with more Subaru reviews coming right up. Goodbye.